changed very quickly. I can look at my PC quickly and I'll do that right now. I think I put it as round 4, but I'm not sure. I meant to put 5 because it is round 5. I put round 3. Why is it? It's not round 3. Now that was just silly. Right, I can get that changed very quickly. I think maybe. Actually no. Ooh, do we have time? I'm not sure if we have time. I don't know who's turning up, so I'm not sure when we're going. I should be much better prepared for this. Rick, mate, you are so out of order, you know that. Oh, Christ, nearly just killed myself because my cord got stuck on the arm of my chair. Right. Right, yo. I don't want Discord, I want Google. Hello everyone, yeah, sorry. We're not rating up yet, so it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Changing it now, and not round 35. There we go. Can I save? What errors? What errors have been resolved? Oh, it's not made for kids. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Right, now I can close this down. There we go. Beautiful, gorgeous, spiffing, lovely jubbly. How's everyone doing then? How are we all doing? How are we all doing? Hope they are okay. It's half term in the UK soon, so that's always a plus. Because... right. Took me a while. Well, it didn't. It took me like 3 seconds, but compared to how long it should have taken me, yeah, not the best. We got 15! We got Zuba! Let's go! 15, that's a good number. It's a decent number for a grid as long as they all finish. Haha, Rick, mate, you've hyped up France so much. If you bottle it, I'm going to be massively disappointed. Like, you don't even understand the level of disappointment on my face if you bottle it tonight. Rick, mate, you've just been called Mazepin. How do you feel? Oh, golly. Oof. One wing as well, mate. My heart was shattered. You both bottled wins at Netherlands. It's just a shame that one of for one of you is your home race, and for Rick it was important for the title fight as well. Now he's what, like 10 points behind? Rick, mate, you're like you've stabbed yourself, and now you're just twisting the knife, and you're also like pouring alcohol into the wound as well, just to sting it that little bit more. What are the standards looking like? Let me get them up. Ooh. Rick, fella, mate, you need to get the rest of the season nailed. You cannot have any more mistakes this year, or I say this year, this season. Cannot have a single mistake. I think we're ready and up soon. I hope we are. Well, I mean, a couple of people are. So I'll get myself set up. Rightio. Rightio then. I haven't got a drink with me. Should probably have done that. Oh well, I'll live, I'm sure. Well, I will say hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to APPF1. Once more, we are here for the Tier 1 Championship, and it's round 5 already. Last week, some saw home heartbreak for the Flying Dutchman, losing the win late on in the race, allowing MX and Rick's teammate at Ferrari, Jack, to edge ahead in the standings. It's time for France tonight, and last time we were here, we were absolutely treated to some spectacular racing. It's one to look forward to, and our boys will always deliver. So who is going to come out on top today? France is fast flowing and has got numerous spots to get some overtaking done, but watch out for the runoff. The stewards will very easily and very quickly hand you a 3-second time penalty if you're not careful. And as always, a massive thank you to our sponsors over at High Dive Apparel. Definitely go and check them out if you get a chance, because once again, they've been sponsoring us for the last couple of seasons, and that is it. It's time to go racing. I'm Zach Sweeney. Let's buckle up and enjoy the ride. We've got a short qualifying and a 50% race in store for us. The usual proceedings. Is there still 10 races left? Really? I did not know that. Anyway, 18 minutes on the clock. We're going to get our telemetry up, and we're going to wait for a couple of people to get themselves out onto the circuit. And then we can get ourselves ready and racing for 27 laps, I think. I'm not entirely sure. Don't quote me on that. Don't kill me. Race calendar. Oh, wow, we do still have quite a few races left. We finished on the 22nd of April. Alright, fair enough, Rick, mate. You've got time. Yeah, fair enough. I'll give you that. I will give you that. But anyway, Koru on the medium compound tyre. Is it going to be one of those races where we see a couple of people going for that alternate strategy? Are the mediums going to be better off for the race? Of course, this is going to be the last game these guys can try that strategy on, because they're getting rid of the rule altogether next year. The Q2 rule, where you have to start the race on the tyres you qualify on, is going to be abolished. So it doesn't really matter what tyres you qualify on. You're going to get free choice in the race. That's what I'm assuming is going to play out like anyway. But for now, we're on 2021. We're on the 2021 rule set. So you're going to have to go for these alternate strategies sometimes. I think the vast majority of people are going to be on the softs, at least, to start qualifying off with. And yeah, Koru, he was a very quick driver over one lap as well, proved himself in Silverstone a couple of weeks ago, proved how quick he can be over the course of a race distance as well. Does that carry forward into France? We'll have to wait and see. Is he? Well, that's a interesting line, Koru. He's doing the Sebastian Vettel line, as he is in Sebastian Vettel's car, but the chicane would be a little bit nicer if you could take it on your actual lap. That would be fantastic. We've got 16 drivers on the grid tonight. I thought we only had 15, but we have got 16, which is great to see. We've got a lovely big grid for us all to enjoy tonight. But yeah, Corey's going to be the first man to set a lap. Then we'll probably jump to Rick when new track layout. Yeah, definitely. He just went straight on down the Mulsanne straight, which is the GT3 layout, I'm pretty sure. That's how you drive it on ACC. You just don't brake for the chicane. You just keep going straight until you reach the right hander. Nonetheless, though, we've got Koru in the Aston Martin on the medium compound tyre, trying to set a lap time. Is it his banker? Is it his final lap to try and start on these medium tyres? We'll definitely have to wait and see. But it's a long dash down in towards turn 1, 200 miles an hour as you slam on the anchors, down to only 4th gear as you flick left, then flick right once more, up into 5th gear, then 6th, then 7th, climbing up, down in towards turn 3. Not much in the way of elevation change, but you're looking for that 50, down to 4th. Again, it's all about commitment. Chuck the car, get on that curb, and then you go through in towards turn 6. There's a quick little right-hand kink, similar to the loop at Silverstone, just less of a comeback on yourself corner. It works very similarly to how you can get a move done to the loop, but nonetheless, down the Mulsanne straight, not too confused with the one at Le Mans, but he's down in towards the chicane of turns 8, 9 and 10, looking for that 100 board on the right-hand side, down to 4th gear. Again, such a high-speed corner, despite it genuinely being a very tight corner. You carry so much speed into it and out of it, and then as he heads towards this flick to the right, completely flat out in these modern Formula 1 cars. You just got to get the car turned in, use the track on the exit, and then set yourself up for this double apex right-hand corner. You just send the car in on the brakes, let it coast around, use the brakes once more to pitch the front end in, get that weight to the front, and then again in towards turn 11, where you just got to go for that late apex, wide in, tight out to get that straight line towards the penultimate corner of turn 13, and then 14 for the final one. Again, just keep it to the left, brake as soon as you're straight, down to second gear, late-ish apex to then get the best drive you possibly can. DRS on this slightly longer run to the line on the new game and across the line. Is it going to be a decent lap? Indeed it is, a 30.5 as we head to Rick on the softs. Let's see what the Ferrari can do as he tries to get himself back towards the front in the standings. Vardy goes second. Rick goes provisional fastest, only a 0.4 despite being on those soft compound tyres. So is that Rick being slightly off the pace, or is that Corey being absolutely on the pace despite being on those medium tyres? We'll have to find out soon enough. This is Bossy in the Haas. He is a phenomenal driver. Driving the Haas, which, to be fair, you'd be forgiven for confusing it for the 2022 Challenger. They are vastly similar, as we found out at 11 o'clock today. But it will be interesting to see if that's actually going to be the actual car we see, the one they rendered for us. MX goes into second place, a 30.535, just ahead of Corey, as Bossy takes a little bit too much track on the outside of turn 11. One of the two. There's quite a few corners. Goes quickest by around 0.6 of a second. 29.8 for the Mercedes driver, who has had absolutely no luck this season. He's had DNF, a DSQ, and while he's been at the front just so consistently, I think, yeah, he did win the Dutch Grand Prix last time out. He's so quick, so consistent, but sometimes luck doesn't go his way, and that is probably one of the reasons as to why he hasn't boasted much success in the way of Tier 1, but over in the sprint, fantastic stuff. So yeah, if you don't tune in on Sundays, definitely do so. Great series to watch, and one I've had the pleasure of commentating on since the start. I've not always been the Tier 1 commentator. I have shared that privilege with a couple of people. As good of a series as it is, the sprint will always be in my heart, is that thing, as I did make a brief mention of on Sunday. But Jack Alacco, Rick's teammate, a 30.373, just goes around about half a tenth or so, 4/100ths of a second quicker than his teammate. So both Ferraris leading the way in the constructors by quite some margin, I believe, as well. They are a formidable force, both really consistent, and it's going to be interesting to see if they can get themselves both involved in the title fight, because at the moment MX is leading in dominant fashion, 9 points, 9 positions over these two. You know, it's not like in the normal point system where you get 7 points for separating first and second. No, it's 1 point between each position. So at the moment MX has got 9 positions in hand, you know, or 9 fastest laps over these two. So yeah, he certainly is very quick. That was my very slow lap. Okay. Rick's warming up. He's brushing off some dust, is what he's doing. That's what he's telling us anyway. As some more people set their laps down to Gravy Splash in P12 at 1:35.787. I can go 1.5 seconds quicker easy. Well, that is going to put you into the 28, Rick. Will it? Yeah, just about into the 28. So, you know, go for it, Rick. If you get a 28, fair enough, mate. Definitely we'll shut up and stop criticising you if you can get us into the 28, because 8 tenths between Ghost and a 28, yeah. I mean, we've still got 10 minutes left. We've still got probably 2 or 3 maybe flying laps left to go in this qualifying session, so you never know. But yeah, Eat My Dust, Bossy, Gravy, LB, Tier, Speed and Koru, all those who are still committing to qualifying on those medium compound tyres. Koru is doing a great job of it, and if he can stay inside the top 10 with that lap, will set himself up nicely for the race. It is definitely the more superior strategy, but do you want to give that time up in qualifying and at the start of the race? It's all about patience. It's all about making sure you know, hey, yes, I'm on the quicker strategy. I'm going to be slower for this first stint, but it's going to be worth it, because it's so easy to drain all your ERS, use up all your tyres, and fight so aggressively at the start as to not lose time. But in the long run, in terms of your strategy, it's going to harm you. I saw it in the sort of the Daytona 2.4 hours. Someone was doing a 1-stop when everyone else was doing a 2-stop. And it's just about patience and having that mental strength in order to say, I'm on the quicker strategy, it's going to work out in the end, I've just got to be patient. So whether that's what Corey and Slippy Jimmy as well has just done a great lap, a 30.6 as well to get him up there on the mediums. Well, unless he's only just starting on the mediums. No, his best is on the softs. I take it back. But still, if he can improve on the mediums, we'll be doing some good work in order to do that. And then, as I say, just about being patient and maximising that first stint as best as possible. But we'll have to wait and see. The soft definitely can help you to do a one stop, but they are going to be quite shattered towards the end, and the mediums just make it more comfortable, more consistent, and overall just a better ride in general. But at least starting on the soft, you then have that option if there's a safety car or something that you can then quickly change to the mediums or something along those lines, because you haven't already used up a set of mediums. But nonetheless, we've got Rick on an outlap, we've got Ghost also on an outlap. They're both coming out for their second flying laps in this qualifying session. And qualifying is always ever important, even at a track like France where you can go for those moves in the Formula 1 game. We've only seen probably one good race around France since its time back on the Formula 1 calendar in 2018. It is still pretty good for overtaking on the Formula 1 game. And Bossy says hi to Rick as he spins out of turn 11. It's lovely to see. Nice to have him waving through. But nonetheless, Rick is going to be the next of the front three to start his lap. So what can he do? Can he go quicker? Can he deliver on that 1.5 second quicker promise that he made a few moments ago? Down and towards turn 1, you can see the Ferrari definitely got some good straight line speed, slightly slower than Corey, who we saw earlier on. Fourth gear, fifth gear through turn 2, maximising each gear. Bit of a slide coming out of turn 2, but now in towards turns 3 again. You just got to get on the brakes, down to fourth gear, and then quickly into third to get the car through. Definitely a good sector 1 from Rick. Quite clean. What's he done? Has he improved? 3/10 and purple to the first sector. So fair enough, Rick, if you're going that much quicker through the first sector alone. Who's he got on his tail? It's Scott. His teammate giving him a lovely slipstream and a lovely slingshot down the Mulsanne straight. That's how these two work together so well, is that Jack Alaka was willing to help his teammate. Down in towards the turn 8 and 9 chicane. And then in towards the right-hander. Didn't quite catch what he did to the middle sector, but I'm sure it was an improvement. It looked quite clean, quite quick through that chicane, and then into this double apex right-hander. It just goes on forever, and it is such a fantastic corner. It's one that's, I'd say, quite underrated, in all honesty. But through turn 11, Rick, again a late apex, used the curb on the exit, and the Ferrari definitely giving us a stellar lap around here. 6 minutes left. He's probably got one more lap if he comes in and does a pit stop. Which is a shame you can't do race pit stops in quali, but hey ho. DRS open as he goes on that dash towards the line. Is it going to be provisional fastest? Has he done it across the line? Yes, it is. A 29.629. Wasn't quite the 1.5 seconds he promised, but 7/10 and provisional pole for Rick at the moment. But Ghost, don't forget him, 2/10 faster through the middle sector, probably only going even quicker through the final one. And through the final corner comes the Mercedes. He needs 2 and a bit tenths in order to topple Rick and get himself back on provisional pole. Has the Mercedes done it? Yes, he has. A 29.411, 4/10 quicker on his previous lap, and it's going to be a battle between these two once more. Ghost versus Rick, Mercedes versus Ferrari for pole around Paul Ricard. And well, Rick, you definitely need to get going. You need to step it up a little bit. Sorry, someone just tried to sign into my iCloud. Very weird as to why that happened. But anyway, fun. But yeah, Rick needs to get a move on. We'll go on board with Jack Alaka. He seems to be purple through the middle sector as well. Might get held up by the Red Bull a little bit though. Scott could get in his way. Is he going to move? No, he's not. Scott is well and truly entitled to stay on his lap, but it's only going to be frustration for the Ferrari, for the Scotsman. But Scott sticking true to his line. Jack Alaka, well, he's racing quite hard, and well, Scott said, no, you don't. But that very easily could give them both 5 first grip penalties. I'm not quite sure as to why they were making contact. Very strange. But yeah, that's ruined Jacko's lap. Ruined Scott's lap as well. But yeah, then again, I guess it's frustration for both. Jacko wants to get past and get on a good lap. Scott just wants to stay on his lap without a Ferrari sending one around the outside. So you can understand both sides of the story, but still, you don't really want to be driving into each other. in qualifying or anywhere. So yeah. Vardy in the Mercedes, trying to replicate what his teammate can do. At the moment, a 31.3. He's what's that? 2 seconds off his teammate. So yeah, needs to step it up, needs to hook up a lap. But what can he do? Through and towards the final couple of corners, and it's into the pit lane for Vardy. Which fair enough. Corey as well, he's on an outlap in the Aston Martin, still P5 on that medium lap time, which is incredible. To say the least, the 30.5 on mediums, and he's going again. I'm not quite sure as to why he's going again, unless he's convinced he can improve, but even then, is he going to improve past Jacko, past MX, who themselves are likely to improve? Is he going to convincingly improve in order to stay in front? And that is my question. Whereas he could instead stay in the pit lane, conserve his tyres, and start the race on some better tyres, as opposed to wearing them out and qualifying for an extra 1 or 2 places, if that. Which, yeah, I'm slightly confused about, but he knows better than I do. I'm going to stick to Race Room Formula 4, which, by the way, definitely go and check out tomorrow afternoon, around about 8 o'clock, I think my race starts, and let's hope I don't make an absolute fool out of myself as I race in a championship where I might win a Formula 4 seat for next year. Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out in a few weeks' time. But across the line for Corey to start his lap. MX as well, he's out there starting a lap, and I think we've got a couple of people. Hopefully it's not that fella. I share the... yeah, definitely. For sure. Down in towards turn 3 and 4 for Corey. Has he improved to the first sector? Slightly, but again, it's not enough to improve his position. He's going to need a great second and third sector, and all he's doing is wearing these tyres out. Remember, he's going to start the race on these tyres. He's going to go longer than everyone else on these tyres. Is it worth the extra lap? Is it worth the extra out lap and in lap? Because don't forget, it's not just the flying lap. You've also got the wear from the in lap and out lap as well. So, yeah, for Corey, a little bit confused, but we'll have to see how it plays out, as Ghost and MX are both on their outlaps, but he has improved, apparently purple to the middle sector, but he's still only half a tenth, not even that, up on his previous best. He's going to need to smash this final sector if he wants any chance of improving his position. Maybe he's doing it to secure it, to protect from Slippy and Scott behind. The Alpine now starting his final flying lap with 1 minute and 50 left to go through turn 11, and he spun it, and that is not going to be doing those tyres any good whatsoever. He joins, I think that's Scott or Zuba, one of the two. It's Zuba off the runoff of turn 11. So yeah, not the wisest of decisions. Ghost is also there. He's looking to defend pole position. Rumax, he's out in P9. Great result for him if he can improve as well. He's definitely not got an easy adversary in front of him. Speed Alcoholic, yeah, has been quite quiet in this qualifying session. 2.5 tenths up for Wumax as he goes down the Mulsanne straight for his final lap. LB goes into P3. Great lap from the Aston Martin to topple both his teammate MX and Jack Alaco. Stellar lap. Not quite in touch with the top two though, who just seem to be in an absolute league of their own tonight. As always, oh, it's a hot chocolate. I thought it was a cup of tea. Lovely jubbly. Right. Brilliant. But nonetheless, yeah, Ghost is out on a lap. He's heading towards turns 3 and 4 now. Bit of a mistake, a little bit too deep using 5th gear, but you can just see how much he uses that curb and how much it just helps the car to hook itself around the circuit. And he is slightly up purple to the first sector, but he's invalidated. A little bit too much curb on the inside there. Could this be Ghost's qualifying run over? Has he got the time to get back? I don't think he has. That's it for Ghost. His qualifying run is over. Rick needs to nail this lap. He needs to capitalise on mistakes like these. This is what makes a champion. This is what will determine. Slippy Jimmy into P3 for the Alpine team. Great lap from him. And he's into the 29s as well. But yeah, as I was saying, Rick needs to nail this lap. He's invalidated it. He's invalidated it. Rick, as I was saying, this is what makes a champion. Being able to capitalise on the mistakes that your rivals have made. Ghost wasn't going to be able to improve. Rick needed to nail this lap. Yes, it's going to be second, but it's an extra position he's going to make up. Did he have the pace for pole? Could he have gone quicker? That's all going to be questions he's going to be relaying as MX goes third, 29.9, just quicker than Slippy Jimmy, so incredibly close in qualifying. But yeah, Rick, importantly, is ahead of both of his championship rivals, which I guess is all that matters. but he would have wanted a little bit more. He would have wanted more place. It would have just made his life that little bit easier. But nonetheless, that's qualifying over and done with, unless Womax is improving, which I don't think he is. There's Speed also out on the lap. Has he improved? Could he get himself to the sharp end? Not quite. Yes, he does. Pole for Speed Alcoholic at 299 for the McLaren. That was an absolute surprise from out of nowhere, and the McLaren has just put it on pole position. He was down in P13 across the line. How has he done that? I do not know, but Speed once again pulling stuff out of the bag. Incredible. He puts it on pole position, a 29.299. Sensational. That was fantastic, and Ghost is going to be kicking himself that he can improve. So close to the front, and now Rick shares a row with him and his championship rival. Once again, these two share a row on the starting grid. Yeah, you couldn't write it. But still, MX is 10 points ahead in the championship. He's definitely using that championship experience that he's got. MX won, of course, the Season 3... wait, was it Season 3? Yes, it was Season 3. He won the Season 3 Tier 1 championship as well. Unless... Wait, this is Season 5. I've put another error in the title. This is Season 5, not Season 4. Oh well, we'll have to wait and see. Because Kiernan won last season. MX won the season before. And he's using that experience tonight to carry him forward. And to have that mentality that it's fine. I'm a position backing in qualifying. But I've got the consistency. I've got the speed. And yeah, and Rick, got to be kicking himself. Got to be kicking himself. It's a nice hot chocolate too. And too much on the curb at T2. Yeah, that's an easy mistake to make, which is unfortunate for Rick. We'll go through the final rundown for qualifying in just a moment. Just waiting for the game to load us in. But it is going to be Speed Alcoholic in the McLaren. A surprise pole position for him, but one that was so important, and I knew he was a little bit too slow for my comfort, so he pulled one out of the bag. He's going to be joined by Ghost on the front row, who cruelly had pole snatched off him. Rick in P3 with MX's championship rival in P4. Sleepy Jimmy rounds off the top 5. A great qualifying for the Alpine with LB 6th. Jackalacco 7th. Koru 8th on the medium tyre. And he'll be starting the race on those as well. Womax P9 with Vardy rounding off the top 10. Scott is going to be the first of those with free tyre choice in 11th. Tier 12th. Eat My Dust in 13th. Bossy in 14th. And Gravy Splash rounding off the grid in 15th. Along with Zuba for 16th. At the back, the AlphaTauri and Red Bull going to be trailing everyone down in towards T1 tonight, and I certainly cannot wait to go for lights out here in Paul Ricard. Do not go anywhere. Get everyone you know who's into racing, who's not into racing, who just has nothing better to do this evening, because it's going to be a great race, and I can't wait to take you through it all as well. All 27 laps of it. I'm just waiting for all the drivers to But yeah, just waiting for the drivers to sort out their strategies, consult with their teammates, what lap they're going to come in, and obviously the fuel loads as well could be quite important. But nonetheless, we go green for the formation lap. If you don't know what a formation lap is, it's basically a parade lap. The drivers go around, they weave, they warm their tyres up, they get themselves ready for the race ahead. It's a short-ish dash towards turn 1, not the long ones like, you know, Sochi and Spain, where you've got such a long run towards the first braking zone. At France, it comes at you, and it comes at you quite quickly. So you've got to get a good start. It's those first and second phases of that start launch where you drop the clutch, you get the power down, you get into second and third gear. Those two stages of the start are going to be so important if you want to capitalise off the 5 red lights today. So yeah, Speed, he's got Ghost right next to him. Well, I say right next to him, he's 9 meters behind him, but in terms of the grid, he's got Ghost right next to him. These two have come to blows before. They've had some good racing. They've had some great moments before. So don't expect either of them to back down. They're both fantastic drivers in their own right. But also they've got Rick just behind them. Rick, he's fighting for a championship. Same too with MX. Could Rick, if I was Rick, I'd be trying to do this. Use the gap that Speed opens up to get past Ghost, and then try and get past Speed. You don't want to be getting into pointless squabbles on the first lap. It's only going to slow yourself down, and you know, back yourself up into the likes of MX. Your teammate's only a couple of positions back as well. You need to get that good launch, and you need to try and get in front of the people you're trying to beat, because in all honesty, is Ghost going to win this championship? Probably not. He's going to need some absolute miracle. Rick needs to focus on beating MX and beating Jackalacko, because those at the moment are the two closest to him. As long as he does that, he's making inroads to the championship. We're going to have a look at a predicted pit stop strategy. Soft, medium, soft, or soft and a double medium stint are the two strategies that are predicted. Will that be the case? Will we have a soft hard? Will there be a safety car to spice up the mix? Remember, there were 5 for Tier 2 on Tuesday. So again, we never know. We'll have to wait and see how the race pans out. Motorsport always seems to throw a curveball. Speed lines himself up on the left-hand side. Interesting that Pole's on the left, because it's traditionally the dirtier side of the track. So how much of an impact that has in a Codemasters Formula 1 game, I'm not too sure. But he's got the inside line. That's going to allow him to defend-ish from Ghost behind. But we've got Zuba taking the final grid slot ahead of the 5 red lights here in France. I think it's west of France. But nonetheless, all the cars are lined up. They're revving up. They're getting ready to go. 5 red lights are on. 3 lights. 4 lights. 5 red lights to the French Grand Prix. 27 laps ahead of us. Speed on pole. Ghost alongside, and we're underway. Seems to be very quick reactions from Speed to get away well. Ghost trying to pull alongside him. MX on the outside of Rick coming towards turn 1. We've got an absolute 4 breast moment towards the back. MX trying to go around the outside of the Ferrari, who says no you don't. Sticks his nose in back up the inside of turn 2. Rick around the outside. Beautiful racing between those two. Bit of confuffle further back. Koru and LB have had a decent starts themselves, but in towards turn 1 and turn 3. Speed leads from Ghost, Rick, MX and Slippy Jimmy, your top 5 as they hit round off sector 1. Rick, not the most ideal start, but he's not lost the position, and that is crucial. We've had Jackalacko spin round towards the backside as well, looking on our timing sheets if that's correct. But Ghost in the slipstream and gaining on speed. Is he able to go for a move? He's using that ERS. The Mercedes is closing at a rate of knots. Put into the left hand side. Is he going to be letting off under brakes in order to go for a move? Not quite, and he's going to have to sit behind for the time being, all while Rick is closing the gap, all while MX is closing the gap, and Slippy Jimmy as well. We've got a couple. We'll tune in with the position gained at the moment. Koru, a big gainer. Emo Dust and Scott as well, up 2 respectively. So yeah, some decent starts from a lot of the people. Great start from Speed and Ghost, just managing to keep their position. Same too with Rick. He had MX on his outside, just shut him off. Said no you don't. Gave him enough room, but had that momentum on the outside in order to carry it round. But just look at how much more committed Ghost is under brakes. That's one of his many attributes, is how late he can be on the brakes. Speed's got his tyre management. Ghost has his brakes and his ERS management as well. In fact, you won't see Ghost flinch at all, but just look, he's getting so close to that McLaren. He's saying, come on, get on with it. We want to get on with this race. I want to get myself into the lead of this race. But they're all stuck in just some long train. Not quite DRS train, because the DRS hasn't been enabled. Absolutely, it's a very open track, a lot of room for wheel to wheel. It's not like Monaco, where you go side by side and you're in a wall. At France, you've got that margin for error. Whether that's for the better or for the worse, it does promote some good racing. But we'll have to wait and see, because, yeah, the top 3, nose to tail. They've got MX slightly behind. Yeah, it's Speed versus Ghost versus Rick, who's going to want to get himself gaining more than 1 point on his main championship rival through turn 7. Is Rick close enough? Don't think he is. Ghost neither close enough. They're going to have to wait for the DRS, I suspect. Is going to be the only way we're going to see a move done, because Speed is hanging on and holding his nerve fantastically, making no mistakes. None of them are, and Rick just trying effortlessly in order to close the gap, because he's looking in his mirrors and he's seeing this Alfa Romeo. Rick, just that's what Rick is seeing at the moment. He's seeing that Alfa, he's seeing that train of cars behind him, and he wants to get away from it. He knows that he's got a championship to fight for. He knows he's quick at France. He wants to get on with it. He's just going for it. But at the same time, last week is playing in the back of his mind. Doesn't matter how good you are. Ghost's looking to the inside. Don't quite know if that was for a move or not. But yeah, anyway, for Rick, that's going to be playing in the back of his mind. He now is going to be more cautious making moves. It could be a slight effect, but it's going to be a drastic one when he's fighting for a championship. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out for him. But nonetheless, we've got Ghost versus Speed. Ghost again getting really close up the rear end of Speed down in towards the final corner. Speed goes quickest for lap 2, so he's definitely got some pace. But now we've got the DRS enabled, that drag reduction system, going to give Ghost that benefit down the back straight to aid his conquest and get himself into the lead of the race if he can. Rick as well in P3. Speed's going to get absolutely nothing down this back straight, and it's a long one for sure. So all he needs to get a good drive off this corner. He hasn't got that. Ghost is all over the rear end of him now, in towards turn 7. He's surely got a blitz past him through 7, down this back straight. He's closing, using that ERS and the DRS. Speed going defensive, breaking the toe, swooping to the inside line, and Ghost isn't gaining as much as he'd like. Is he going to go all the way around the outside? Yes, he is. Speed tries it on the inside, but Ghost dances that car through. Brilliant move from the Mercedes in order to get himself into the race lead. But is Speed going to come right back at him off the exit of the chicane, down in towards this fast right-hander that is turn 10. The McLaren on the inside, the Mercedes on the outside. Who's going to back out of this one? Surely neither of them are. Ghost has to tuck in behind. Speed back into the lead of the race, but he goes in deep. Ghost is invited right back up the inside of turn 11, and he gets the car stopped just about. It's the outside of turn 11, turn 12, if he can get it stopped. But once more, the Mercedes just has that grip on the outside, allows itself to dance all the way through, and still side by side between the two. Speed on the inside of the penultimate corner, going to try it, but Ghost again keeping it squeezed. Is Speed going to launch onto the inside? Bit of contact. You can put a sheet of paper between the front wing of Speed and the rear diffuser of Ghost. DRS open down in towards turn 1. Does Speed want to fight it into turn 1, or is he going to wait? He's not using that ERS. Ghost is just going to say, you're not going to do that. I'm not defending. I'm not slowing myself down just to let you through. But some great racing, and Rick just couldn't do anything, couldn't find a way through. Maybe this is a turning point for that, because he's definitely got some momentum on Speed, but he doesn't want to lose sight of Ghost, and more so he doesn't want to fight as hard as those two did. As he got yellow flags, I think that's Eat My Dust going round off the exit of turn 2. Manages to keep going, of course, but going to be unfortunate. And even through all of that, Ghost still has over half a battery left to go. But Rick, he's played the patient game. He's played this very smart. He's not used little to no ERS while they were fighting. And that's allowed him to close up. Are we going to see a move at the front, or are we going to see a move for P4? The Alpine darting to the inside of MX and towards the chicane. Not quite going to be able to convert this time around with a top 3 nose to tail. And that skirmish may have just knocked MX out of contention. He's now less than a second, just teetering on the edge of DRS. He doesn't want to lose that DRS at all. But you can see Speed gaining and gaining and gaining. Is it close enough to go for a move? No, not quite on this occasion. Through into the double apex. Again, just needs to set up good exits. This is all he needs, is good exits, and needs to save that ERS as well. As we approach lap 5 of 27. It's going quickly, and that's why we've got such a good race on our hands. But yeah, Rick early into the pit lane. Has he picked up some damage, or is this a scheduled stop? Because MX is in as well, so Ghost and Speed hang out there. This is definitely a 2-stop then. It's got to be a 2-stop. It's got to be a 2-stop. They are in so early. Are these softs genuinely dying this early on in the stint? Do they have to go for that double mediums? We'll have to see what they put on. Rick's going for mediums. What's MX going for? Remember, yeah, mediums as well. They're going for that 2-stop. They're going to go for probably, I'd say, what would I say, 10 and 12, or they could split 11 apiece. 11 laps on the mediums is nothing. They could easily do that. They could do that in their sleep. So yeah, they're going to be pushing those mediums to the absolute limit for 11 laps or so. And yeah, it's definitely evident, because Corey on 4-lap old mediums is catching Slippy Jimmy in the slipstream, in the DRS, using his ERS as well, trying to catch the Alpine. Is it enough? Has he got the momentum? Not quite, and the Aston Martin just has to sit behind, but he is close. But Slippy Jimmy has got some good pace, but I think Corey's just got some slight edge at this point, because he's going long. Remember, he's going to go mediums to hard. He's not going to have to make that extra stop, but he's got to make sure he's quick on the tyres he's on, and he's conserving them, and he's making sure they don't go off. It's probably around 18-20 seconds advantage in Corey's hands. Can everyone else make that up, or is Corey going to just pull an absolute worldie? And and Scott and Tyr and Bossy as well. They're all on the medium tyres as well. Don't forget, is that LB going around? No, it's Corey. It's Corey going around. Just as I'm talking about how he could win this race, he spins off the exit of turn 11. Corey, he's not lost as much time as he probably could have. LB's in, Wumax is in, Speed and Ghost stay out. They're going really long in this stint then, and they're definitely going to get undercut by Rick and MX. Are these two trying to stay for a one-stop? Because Ghost and Speed, both two of the most conservative drivers I know, despite being two of the most aggressive drivers I know. They can save ERS, they can save tyres, they can save fuel, they can save anything. So they're going long in this race and trying their best in order to do so. So we'll have to see when they come in and what tyres they go onto, whether it's mediums or hards. But yeah, certainly an interesting strategy. A split between the front runners too. Just a shame that Corey's been sent round. But yeah, at this moment in time, nothing really to report on, apart from the fact MX is chasing Rick down. And they don't want to hold each other up much. They want to work together to the best of their ability, I would say, personally anyway. Because they're on different strategies to Ghost and Speed. They don't know how it's going to play out. So do they want to lose that time fighting? That is the question. Tyr becomes the first driver to pick himself up one of those 3-second penalties that I talked about in the intro. Very easy to do. Just slight cut here and there. Do that 3 times. That's a 3-second penalty. Handed to you by the stewards, and very difficult to get those removed unless it was very clearly unfair. Most of the time the stewards will just say, you're off the track. This is fair enough. Of course, the track defined by the white lines and not the edge of the curb, like some people believe. In some series it is the edge of the curb, depends on the track, depends on the corner, depends on the series. But for Formula 1, it's the white line. If you're more than 4 wheels off that line, well, more than 3 I think. As long as you've got 1 wheel touching that white line, you're safe. Nonetheless, the fight for 6th, Tyr versus Bossy, the Haas versus the Williams, to the inside, gets the job done way before the corner, back onto the racing line, and up into 6th for Bossy. So Tyr just has to tuck back in. But both of them, yeah, they're working together nicely, as Tyr goes slightly wide, and things like that probably are the reason why he's got that 3-second time penalty. This is Rick though, fastest lap of the race, 33.4. He is closing. Is it closing? Enough to make this 2-stop work? You know, a safety car right towards the end of Rick's stint would save him, and he would be very quick. But would it also benefit Speed and Ghost? Would a safety car right now I think would seal the deal in the fact that the race is going to go Ghost and Speed's way. He's got a bit side by side here. This is Eat My Dust versus Zuber, the fight for the top 10. Zuber versus the McLaren, down in towards the chicane. They've got Rick for company right behind him. He gets a front row seat to it all. But he's going to find no passage through as Eat My Dust gets himself inside the top 10. Chasing after the AlphaTauri Gravy Splash as well. Rick setting up that exit, get that drive off the corner to try and get past Zuber, who I don't think he's going to put up much of a fight. To the inside, yeah, he's not at all putting up much of a fight compared to Rick, because he knows Rick is in a completely different race to him. So fair play from Zuber, just to pick his moments wisely and fight the right battles, I think is what needs to be said. Because now, he can, if he wants to, latch onto the back of Rick and use him as a bit of a cheeky little, he's coming through, so I'm going to come through as well sort of thing. But yeah, Eat My Dust and Gravy Splash as well going at it, similar to how Ghost and Speed at the front did as well. But once more, Rick can't find a way through as Gravy Splash is sort of just scared off the track into the pit lane. Ghost making headways at the front, 1.3 seconds now is the gap between himself and Speed. But the Ferrari versus the other McLaren, maybe Eat My Dust is going to hold Rick up a little bit. Who knows? Maybe there's some team orders down at McLaren. Maybe Speed is saying, hey, Rick's on a 2-stop, I'm on a 1-stop, give me some help here. He's going to be very quick. Maybe he's doing the old Checo Perez sort of thing and keeping Rick at bay. How long that can happen for, I don't know, because those softs are going to be dead at this point in the race. Rick's going to try and go for the switcheroo. Again, that's a thing you can do both here and at the loop at Silverstone, is look up the inside and try and get that drive off the corner. Not quite going to work on this occasion. Rick needs to get past this traffic, but at the same time, he can't afford to be draining as much ERS as he is. Eat My Dust is going defensive, sort of, but the Ferrari looks to the left-hand side. Easy job under braking. It's not actually. The McLaren comes right back at him. Rick is again trying to use that fresh tyre to get the drive off the corner to the left-hand side. It's the long way round of the upcoming right-hander. He's not got as good of a run as I thought he had, and he's going to have to tuck once more behind the McLaren, who definitely is playing the team game here. And Speed is going to be absolutely loving this guy if he does help him pay off and get to the win, because, well, Speed's in. He gets a 5-second penalty though. He's going to need his teammate, in fact, because he can't serve that at this pit stop. It's going to be at his next pit stop if he comes in, and that's really going to cost him if there's a late safety car or something along those lines. Onto the hards, he's going to the end, or at least intending on going to the end. So yeah, that's the shame for Speed. Ghost stays out one more lap. I think Speed was maybe trying the undercut, but yeah, a bit of contact. Rick getting caught up because Vardy is going quite slowly. We've got the Mercedes teammate and the McLaren teammate both going at it, but here comes the McLaren to the left-hand side. Rick again just trying to find a way through. Vardy's going to try and come back at him. Rick's going to look up the inside and then the outside. Vardy's going to say, no, you don't. Completely pushes him off the circuit. as MX now has got a run on Rick. Vardy giving him the squeeze though down in towards turn 4 because he sent it on the inside of Rick, trying to help Ghost out. Rick is really going to be getting frustrated. He's got 2 teammates now trying to slow him up, and his championship rival, the person who's 10 points ahead of him, is now looking to try and get past him once more, as we've got Speed getting past MX. He's already in the mix. Rick hasn't even got that far in front. He's lost so much time, and now they're nose to tail, these 4 cars. Vardy heading the train, darting to the inside goes Rick. He's got MX on his outside. They're 3 abreast down in towards the turn 8 and 9 chicane. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to be Rick around the outside, but tagged round. Is that even? No, it's Speed Alcoholic. He's been tagged round and he's spun, so it's gone from bad to worse. Started with a 5-second penalty and now it's spun round. He's only just come out of the pit lane and got caught up in the skirmish between Rick and his main rival's teammate. Rick giving Vardy the squeeze. Vardy goes into the back of him. This is strange driving, to say the least. Ghost responds to Speed's undercut attempt. Not going to matter though at all, as I think Vardy definitely has got some front end plate damage. Trying to do his teammate a favour. He's definitely done his teammate a favour, fighting MX, pushing him off the circuit with no front wing at all. That's going to be the car just going away from him. That's not going to be Vardy intentionally trying to push him off the circuit. Yeah, MX going around the outside of someone. He's got wing damage. Probably not the wisest move. But anyway, this is Scott versus Koru, both on the medium tyre. The top 4 now are those that haven't pit yet in this Grand Prix. So we'll have to see what Koru can do. This is the fight for the provisional race lead. Of course, when they come into the pit lane, they won't be leading the race. That'll go into the hands of Ghost and Slippy Jimmy now, actually, who could be looking quite quick. MX as well is there. But we'll have to fight. Go back to this fight at the front between Koru and Scott, who just darts to the inside, slingshot, and just takes the lead. Easy as you like it, pretty much, and to no competition from Scott. But yeah, Slippy Jimmy and Ghost. I think 2 of the favourites to win this race. I think it's going to go Ghost way, then Slippy, and then it's going to be a fight between MX, LB and Rick, who's had to come into the pit lane as well for hard compound tyres, maybe picked up some damage. Here's MX to the inside. Slippy's not going to fight this one because he knows MX needs to make another pit stop. So he's not going to fight it. There's no point in him fighting it. Despite MX going defensive, there's no point in Slippy fighting this at all. He's now got LB for company. He doesn't want to get swallowed up. That's going to be the last of his problems. Or well, this is going to be the most least ideal situation for Slippy Jimmy if he gets swallowed up, because he wants some clear air. He wants to push on and do his own thing, not be constantly overtaken by the medium runners. So it's just a balancing game. Tier is the first of those that started on the mediums to come into the pit lane. Whether that's for hard or not, I'm not too sure. I'm sure it's going to be for Tier. It's got to be for Tier. But Ghost on the back of Eat My Dust. Is he going to still do his teammates some favours and try and hold up the Mercedes? We'll have to wait and see. Maybe McLaren and Mercedes got some bitter taste going on. Because, Speed potentially got taken out by Ghost's teammate. Maybe Eat My Dust is going to say, well, happened to one of us, going to happen to both of us. Hopefully that's not going to be the case though. But yeah, Vardy definitely got his elbows out for sure. Is Ghost close enough? He's definitely got the ERS to close the gap. Eat My Dust is certainly looking in his mirrors and closing his Ghost. Is he going to launch one to the inside? Very close, but filling the mirrors of the McLaren, making sure he knows he's there. He definitely does know he's there now. But Slippy Jimmy is keeping with MX well, despite him being on the quicker tyre at this point in time. So yeah, the Alpine driving a great race, definitely got some great pace as well. As Ghost going up the inside, Eat My Dust is going to try and fight it. He's getting the squeeze from the Mercedes, but once more the Mercedes gives him enough room on the outside. The McLaren's going to have to tuck in. Is he close enough to launch one to the inside of turn 11? Not quite. I think it's better of it. I think Vardy would have sent that. But yeah, nonetheless, this is LB trying to go around the outside of the Alpine as well. Get that late apex, get that drive off the corner. You'll hear me say that so many times, but it's so true. You need it around France. You need to get that push off the corner and make sure you're up to that top speed quicker than your opponent, and you can get that position pretty much for free. This is Koru. He's had a spin, but he's quick, and he's now coming out of the pit lane. He's going to lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions down to Rumax and down to P10 as he exits the pit lane. But he is right on the back of this train, in fact, and most of these guys have got to pit again. Koru could still be in a good position for this race. But we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Bossy and Scott also both going very long. maybe they know this race is quite chaotic at the moment, and what they're going to do is, fingers crossed, it could be a safety car. Someone might crash, but Rick, once more, is at the back of the grid. He's with the people that are still, well, probably got another pit stop. He hasn't, and he's getting caught up in these races, and Vardy is not making life easy for him at all. He gets the squeeze, bit of contact. Rick has to go off the circuit. Vardy is getting his elbows out for sure, around the outside of 3 to the inside of 4, and then into 5. Has he got it? There's contact. Vardy's been sent around the AlphaTauri, just completely turns across him, but fair play to the AlphaTauri for doing that. Not in the fact that, hey, he should have turned across him, but that was an audacious send from Vardy, and in most universes was not going to work at all, and Greg was already turning. Vardy got a little bit too ambitious. Rick now can clear the AlphaTauri and get some clear air for the rest of this race. Hopefully for him anyway, because he's going to need it to even have a chance at a podium, let alone beating his rivals. So yeah, we'll have to see how that one pans out for Rick, because this race, despite him being quick, same theme as last race as well at Zandvoort, just hasn't gone his way, whether that be his own fault or someone else's fault, hasn't gone his way at all. We've got a couple of pit stops. We've got Bossy and Eat My Dust both into the pit lane. MX on the back of Slippy Jimmy. So Slippy Jimmy's managed to get back in front of the Alfa Romeo. Remember, MX is still yet to pit. Slippy Jimmy's going to the end. They're fighting. I think Slippy Jimmy's trying to hold MX up as best he can. But at the same time, Speed Alcoholics is also going to the end. So while it is slowing MX up and preventing him from making that 2-stop work, it's also allowing Speed to make his 1-stop work even better compared to Slippy. As long as he can latch himself into the DRS, MX is closing. Slippy having to go to the middle of the circuit, but MX hasn't got the ERS to contend. The Alpine defends, the Alfa Romeo darts to the outside. Has he got the grip to go around the outside? No, he doesn't. He's going to go for the double switcheroo, get the drive once more off the corner, but again just hasn't got enough, and Slippy Jimmy is driving brilliantly, in all honesty. This is Speed trying to get past Corey. These two are both going to the end as well. The Aston Martin, I should say, on the outside of the McLaren as they head in towards turn 10 and 11. The McLaren on the inside, but Corey sweeps all the way around the outside. The McLaren comes back at him, but Corey, not really, don't fancy it at all. I've got the fresher tyres. I want to get onto the back of this train, and I want to be heading away for a podium finish in this Grand Prix. You're not going to be saying anything about that, as we are now around about halfway through the French Grand Prix, and it's been certainly eventful to say the least so far. I think there's going to be a convincing win from Ghost. Will it be Slippy Jimmy? Will it be MX? Will it be LB? Will it be Corey? Will it be Speed that finished second and third? We'll have to wait and find out, but yeah, for Rick, it's going to be 2 weeks in a row where not really been the best race for him, and it's going to damage his championship hunt. Yes, there's still 10 races left to go, but when does that, oh, there's still time, run out? Because every point counts, and if he loses the championship by a matter of points, he's going to look back to these moments right now, early on, where he was complacent and said, oh yeah, there's still time, I'll be fine. He's going to look back at these and feel gutted that he lost out a championship because he didn't capitalise off mistakes. No disrespect to Rick, he's a great guy, great driver as well. But it's a theme with championships, and that's what happens. And I know for myself that losing a championship, you always look back to early on and think, I should have taken it more seriously. I should have not been complacent. I should have pushed every lap as if it was the final lap for the championship, just to get every little point you possibly could out of that race, because it always helps you later on. It's planning and making the job for your future self a lot less stressful. Speed, what a 3-second penalty, really isn't going his way. He's now got 8 seconds worth of penalties, 5 of which will be served at his next pit stop if he makes one. And he's going off the track once more. He's really not having a good day. Drove great in qualifying, not really transferring that over into the race as such. Yeah, Slippy is parking that Alpine, is making it difficult for MX. He wants the team Alpine to get a home victory here on French soil. But MX is thinking, I need the extra points. This is my championship. I want to go for my second Tier 1 championship. I want to be, like Vardy, a double Tier 1 champion. Because Vardy's the only one that's done it so far. Like Ghost in the sprint, Ghost is the only one to win multiple sprint championships. They want to join that prestigious rank of the best of the best. And MX certainly is capable of it. He's consistent, he's aggressive. He's certainly made steps up in his temper, in his aggression, and he's being more patient, being more conservative on his ERS. Not perfect, but he's making steps forward, and it's these championship experiences that really shape a driver and make a driver as good as they are. So yeah, MX, always quick, always consistent, and his first laps really do aid him in winning these titles and winning these races. So yeah, we'll have to see how that pans out, and he certainly is deserving of being one of the greats. As many assignments I've had a bit of skirmishes on track with MX, he certainly does deserve all the accolades that he's got and will go on to win in APPF1. Because I think as long as he's here, he's going to be one of the front lot, like Ghost. Unfortunately, unlike Vardy. But yeah, that's a shame. The new game really just wasn't tasting well to his strong suits, I suppose. But in 2021, you should have seen him. He was magical. And just look at this train. 5 cars we've got going on for the fight for P3. It's going to be the fight for P2 after Scott finally comes into the pit lane. How he's still going and still with decent pace, I have no clue. He's hanging on for the hope of a safety car, which is going to trigger everyone else to come in probably for mediums or softs. Bossy sets the fastest lap as he's trying to get his way towards this fight. But yeah, there's just nothing happening at the moment. Rick's making headways on the McLaren of Eat My Dust, who goes quickest, 32.8. Is Rick going to respond to that? Has he gained? I mean, he's gained a good 5 seconds on the McLaren over the last couple of laps since we last checked in with them all. So who knows? We'll have to wait and see. DRS once more for MX, who I think just hasn't got the ERS to attack the Alpine, who himself hasn't really got the ERS to defend it at all. This is LB closing and closing on MX as well, in towards the chicane. MX just saying, please don't. I want to work together. I want to get through. If I get through, then you can get through. But that's Corey trying to go up the inside of the teammate, and they've come together. Both Aston Martins have come together. LB is the one that's worst off. He's backwards into the barrier, and Corey, looking up the inside, was given near to no space considering their teammates. Luckily he's still going, but for Corey, he's waiting up. Is he waiting for his teammate? Is he aware that this is his fault? Scott's finally into the pit lane. Was he given no space by his teammate? Was it too late of a move to make? Was the turn across? We don't know, and certainly the stewards will have a look, but good sportsmanship from Corey just to wait up for his teammate and to say, hey, tell you what, fair enough, my bad, and we'll wait up. It's good to see between the two, but again, just tarnishes Corey's race. Still chance though, still 11 laps left of this race. Ghost inherits the race lead after Scott finally comes into the pit lane, and he comes out decent positioned as well. He's come out, what, P5, maybe 6? That's going to be side by side with Bossy perhaps as they go in towards turn 1, and he's P5 and he's on the soft compound tyres. If these guys keep batting, keep holding each other up, do not count Scott out of this race at all, because at the moment he's 4th with speeds penalties. This could be Scott's resurgence back to form. He won the Season 3 Sprint title. He's won races in Tier 1 before. He is very quick, and he is not that far behind. Did Corey not? Did he get damage? Oh no, he didn't. He had damage. Oh, that makes sense. Fair enough. Cheers, Taylor. I thought he was being really, really nice, really wholesome. But no, he was just coming into the pit lane for his teammate. Play it off like that, Corey. Just say, I was waiting up for him and then I was going to pit. That's what he'll say. That's what he'll say to the stewards, but he's already got a penalty enough. Oh, hey, Slippy Jimmy's in AI. There's contact between Speed and MX straight into the back of the Alfa Romeo. Speed's lost his front wing. Slippy Jimmy's gone into AI. Why has he done that? If that's on purpose, he's slowing down still. Speed's getting held up. This is, well, Scott is now well and truly in this race. Has MX got damage? Will MX need to come into the pit lane? That's a no. He's carrying on. Slippy Jimmy is still going slowly. Speed's going to have to come into the pit lane. Corey isn't that nice. No, he's not at all. No, he's not. But I'm not sure what happened. Slippy Jimmy stays out. He obviously didn't get any damage in that. His rear wing must be invincible. But that's completely ruined Speed's race. Why did he go into AI? Was it a lag issue? Was it a ping issue? Was it him accidentally clicking pause button? That happens as well, as we got a spinner. That's Zuber in the Red Bull, and this is now Eat My Dust getting past Tit down towards turn 1. I'm hanging off from Tit. I didn't quite catch the first bit of that battle. Yeah, Scott could get second here. Easily could get second. Is MX trying to take these to the end? No way is he trying to take these to the end. He is a madman if he thinks he's doing that. If he does, props to him. Props to him. But I think Scott is one of the favourites for P2. If there's a safety car, could win this race. He knows he can as well. He just needs to keep it clean. And I'm saying all of this, I just hope he doesn't spin it. but Sippy Jimmy has put up incredible battles before, incredible defences. Now he's got a champion on his tail. Well, he had a champion on his tail before. He's had the tier 1. Now he's got the sprint champion on his tail. In towards this double apex right-hander. Scott pushing him through, wanting to use these soft tyres. But again, doesn't want to risk this race. He knows he's got the pace in order to do so. Sippy got connection issues. Yeah, I would assume so. Hopefully he doesn't receive a penalty for that. Because again, it wasn't his fault. But again, it did ruin Speed's race. You are responsible for your car at all times. But we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it doesn't ruin Scott's race, who's just going to absolutely blitz past the Alpine. Look at that straight line speed. Just says, okay, in a bit. 32.8 as well, for good measure. So Scott, on a charge, he's setting the fastest lap. And that was in anything but clear air. 1.5 seconds to MX. Lap 19 of 27. Surely he has to get this done. And easily my driver of the day is Scott. Took those mediums very long into this race, considering he had heavy fuel. And went on to the softs. Now to the end of the race with lighter fuel, pretty much in quali spec, a little bit slower than quali spec, and is just flying after everyone. Will it be enough to catch Ghost though? That could be interesting. Has he got 8.5 seconds in the tank? That's going to be what? Say if he catches up to MX, what is he now? 9.5 seconds? We've got what? 8.5 laps left of this race to go. He's going to need roughly a second and a half, a second and 7/10 a lap ish if he wants to get it done. He needs to go now though. We'll have to wait and see how it pans out, because yeah, it's certainly interesting if he can get in front and push. But then again, Ghost is going to be very difficult to get past, and it's going to be right towards the end of the race that he gets it done. So we'll have to wait and see. But 4/10 the gap between MX and Scott, the Tier 1 Season 3 champion. The Season 3 Sprint champion going to go at it between the two. And MX is into the pit lane, so that is Scott's affair. Made very easy indeed, as MX is forced to come into the pit lane. Those mediums will be screaming. They will want to be off, and they will want to be in the tyre blankets now. 9.1 between Scott and Ghost. The fastest lap, 32.8 once more. Very consistent from the Red Bull driver. Maybe he can smell victory. Maybe he's driving towards it. Where does MX come out? Of course, on the softs. And is waiting quite well. No, he's not. He's just glitched. But he's going to come up P7. LB followed him in. In fact, Rick could be side by side with him. He will be ahead just. But he's got hards for 10 laps versus softs for no laps. So, while yes, they're fighting each other in the championship, is he going to be much of a fight on the track? Probably not. His speed goes quickest as well on his fresh softs with a 31.6. He's really quick, and that's the thing with Ghost. Every person who was challenging, Scott gets himself a 3-second penalty. No, that's ruined any chance he had to win in this race. But anyway, that's the thing with Ghost. Rick, MX, Speed, all of them had a chance to win in this race. All of them are now out of the run, and he's still leading the way. And this is MX dying to the left-hand side. Rick trying to put up as much of a fight as he could against his champion rival. But once again, it's probably going to be a race that goes MX's favour. At least Rick's going to get tied with his teammate again, I suppose. I mean, he's coming back at MX, using everything he's got in order to come back at the Alfa Romeo. Dying to the right-hand side. He's putting up much more of a fight than I definitely thought he would. The Alfa Romeo are going to stick it around the outside. Yes, it's a fight for 7th, but these two, remember, are fighting for the championship. MX goes for the dummy, gets him back up the inside. The old switcheroo. Rick with a bit of a snap. Does not want to be happening any more of them as we go on to lap 21 of 27, and that's a done deal. MX is back in front, and Rick is really struggling with those tyres to keep him quick. But yeah, as I was saying, Rick, Jacko, Koru, Speed, all of them have had a chance in this race and have had moments where they could have won. But Ghost has just done everything right. He's done everything he needed to do. He's just had such a quiet and boring race, and that's why he's so good. He doesn't put himself in those silly positions or gets himself into these silly skirmishes. Yes, things sometimes don't go his way, but he never puts himself in those positions where he's going to lose the race. If you catch my drift. Ghost is very good, is what I'm trying to say. No disrespect to anyone else, but it's just a tribute to how good Ghost is over most people on the field. And it is a shame that he's down in P10 in the standings with only 36 points. But 2 wins on the bounce. Could we see him get back into this title fight? stranger things have happened. He's going to be gaining, what, 6 points on MX? 7 points on MX? You know, every little helps if he does that every race for the next 10 races. Still a long way to go. Ghost isn't out of it. I did say it was a realistic chance that he's not going to be, but who knows? He's starting lap 22 now. He's got 6 laps of this race remaining. He's got Scott chasing after him. But remember, Scott's got a 3-second penalty. Ghost is chilling. He's absolutely chilling out in front. Not a care in the world. This is just a casual Friday night drive for him. Yeah, 7 seconds between Scott and Ghost. We've got very close between MX and Rick. In fact, Rick is giving him a fight because they're quite equal on ERS. Quite equal in terms of ERS. Through the right-hander of turn 6 into 5 into 6 and then 7. There's a lot of corners here, and I'm not quite sure which ones count because, you know, the Nürburgring has 70 odd corners, but they don't count any of the kinks. Some of the corners that are 3 corners, or like the complexes that are like 3 corners, are only counted of 1. So yeah, sometimes they're not counted, and it's quite confusing. But Womax, inside the top 10, is going to get robbed that from Speed, who himself has got like, I think 12 sets. No, he's got 2 sets of 3 and then a 5. So yeah, he's got quite a few. It's going to be 13 seconds for Speed, if I can find the right... There it is. Oh, he's only got 6. Oh no, because he served the 5 seconds, of course, didn't he? Yeah. No, of course. Of course, of course. Fastest lap, which way is that going? It's still Speed's at the moment, so he's going to pick up a couple of points. But as long as Womax can stay within 6 seconds of him and not pick himself up any penalties, should be all good and dandy. But a disappointing race for Rick and MX. They both would have wanted more, just weren't on the right strategy, weren't in the right places at the right time, and that's cost them. As MX gets a little bit caught out by the ghosted AI, allows Rick to close the gap. Rick very cleverly saving some ERS, whereas MX isn't. So maybe there's a chance for Rick to come back through the left, into the right. MX hasn't got any DRS in front. He's trying to close up onto the back of the Williams, and they probably should be closing up onto the back of the Williams. But who knows? Rick is in the DRS. He's not using his DRS though. Whereas MX, I would assume, is using little bursts here and there in order to try and stay in front. But Rick is keeping himself in this. If MX gets a penalty, Rick's there. How many penalties has he got? There's yellow flags. Zuba's retired. It's in the pit lane. It's in the pit lane, ladies and gents. Calm down. There's not going to be a safety car. There's not going to be a safety car. At least for now. Who knows, someone else might crash. But 23 laps into this race, and we've only just had a retirement. And it's Zuba in the pit lane. It's, you know, it's great how all of these drivers have done so well. Zuba didn't even crash. He decided to just park it in the pit lane and retire. So, yeah, these guys doing a great job. Much more consistent than how Tier 2 were on Tuesday. But at Zandvoort, no one was consistent on Tuesday, Eric. Or, well, at Zandvoort anyway. 5 safety cars on Tuesday. And of course, Rick did Rick on last week. Ghost keeping Scott honest. But, I mean, Scott's progress is going to be halted at the moment because Ghost's obviously going to be getting old. He's going to start to be losing a little bit of pace, and he's probably lost all of his momentum, but he's still on for a good P2. He just needs to keep Slippy Jimmy at bay. So I'd say a podium is Scott's. Whether that's second or third, whether Slippy can close up the gap is another question. But yeah, look at Rick. He's saved up half a battery, kept with MX, who should be a lot quicker, who now hasn't got much in the way of ERS. Rick could still gain some points on MX. He's closing and closing and closing as the Ferrari. Has he got the speed to send it? Not quite. As Corey goes quickest at 30.7, takes that point away from him apparently. Of speed, and that's probably ruined it. With Rick getting another penalty, he's now up to 6 seconds. So he's gonna need MX to spin, MX to crash, or MX to get 6 seconds worth of penalties himself. But as MX cars get older, Rick's probably only getting better at this point because the hards just somehow do that. As we go on to lap 25 or 27, only 3 laps of this race remaining. As we've got a spinner, who's that? That is Tyr, that's gone round, that's invited both of them through. Extra points for the pair of them. Tyr managed to get himself going. Jackalacko wants to get a piece of the pie as well. Looking to the inside, is that Tyr into the pit lane? I think so. Maybe his tyres were just absolutely cooked. Yeah, probably were, to be honest. Rick's closing, but not quite enough to get himself at least to have a look on the Alfa Romeo, who he wants to finish ahead of, and is going to wish him to spin. Nearly fell over. Fantastic. MX very wide, using all of the track, every extremity he can. Probably going to pick himself up a penalty if he carries that on. But 60% ERS for Rick, 17 for MX, now 11. He is really on the back foot here, and those tyres are only getting older. Look at how much of the track he's using to the left. He's not giving Rick an inch of space in order to get through. He's only got to hold on for a couple more laps, and Rick needs to then get on with it afterwards and hope that MX gets a penalty or two. At this point, MX is going to extend his championship lead to 11 points over Rick. It will be, what, 11 points over Jackalacko as well. The two teammates are going to be tied on points. So yeah, MX still definitely has a firm grip on this championship. Ghost, don't forget, is going to gain some points also. Not quite sure how far behind Ghost is, but he's had a disqualification which has cost him 20 points. And more. Is that MX into the pit lane? No. I thought it was. I thought he was darting off to the right. I was like, well, hang on a minute. But anyway, 2 laps after this French Grand Prix left to go. Lap 26 of 27, the penultimate lap. Ghost leads the way. Scott trying to charge after him on those softs to sort of kill this steam. Lost his momentum, but still a great drive if he can hang on for second. Slippy Jimmy as well, a great drive for third. Then comes Bossy P4, his highest finishing position since returning back to APPF1. So again, good progress. Imadas P5 would be a really good result for McLaren despite the race that they've had today. Then comes MX, then Rick. Maybe that could change. We're on board with this fight right now. Then is Rick's teammate Jackalacko speed, and they'll be round off the top 10 in 9th and 10th respectively. But now this is Rick's chance. He's going to use all that ERS that he's saved up over the last few laps. He pulls to the left-hand side. MX has got absolutely nothing to say to that. And back in front of his championship rival, trying to claw back some points. It's only going to be one, if that, because of that penalty, setting him back. Clumsy mistakes from Rick. MX is still firmly in control of this championship. Yes, we're only a few rounds in. Yes, there's still a long way to go, but still MX has control. And as I said earlier, it's these early moments where you're going to be kicking yourself if you don't maximise them, and MX is doing exactly that. He knows how these early points will help him in a championship because he nearly missed out in Season 3 at Kota. As we go on to the final lap of this race now, Ghost is well and truly underway with it. He's gained some time over Scott. He must have had a mistake or something. These tyres are going to be dead. MX struggled to do 14 on mediums. Scott's doing 10 on softs around probably one of the most demanding tracks on the tyres on the calendar. You've got so much quick, so much speed in these corners, so much flick into the corners as well. So he might lose out on P2 here. Slippy Jimmy could be, well, he is inside the 3-second range. Scott's going to need an absolute worldie of a final lap to hang on to it, but it's going to be a second or a third. I don't really think he cares what it is at this point. It's a podium, and we catch Corey at the perfect time as he won. Maybe resets the track. He's left the session with only 1 lap to go. Not quite sure as to why. But anyway, yeah, not Corey's day at all, despite being pretty good and a pretty good position as well. But again, clumsy mistakes, like Rick, just clumsy mistakes that are put him back. But unlike Corey, Rick is still in 6th, will be 7th come the checkered flag, which is only moments away for this man right here, who we haven't seen much of at all. And that's probably a good thing. That's what he wants in this race, as he tries to make something of this season after a pretty dismal opening to it. He rounds the final corner. It's going to be 2 races back to back. First it was the Dutch Grand Prix. He comes across the line and he's going to become the French Grand Prix winner. Round 5 of Season 5 here for Tier 1. Ghost reigns victorious very dominantly over Scott, who comes home in 2nd place. That penalty will drop him back. Slippy Jimmy comes home in 2nd place. A great drive from both of these drivers, maximising the strategy, maximising the pace. Bossy as well, massive mention to him. Great effort from the Haas in order to get himself inside the top 5 and the top 4 on his return. We've missed him. He was a front runner, and he certainly is back now. Eat my dust. Again, great drive from him as well for the McLaren. All of the top 5 have been phenomenal. Then it comes to MX. Again, had a chance at a win. Poor strategy perhaps costing him. Rick, 18 laps on those hards, and still on track, finished ahead of MX. 1.3 seconds as well. It wasn't by a mean margin. So Rick did drive well, but some costly mistakes, bit of contact, getting held up by Varley, being maybe a little bit too over aggressive. But again, being on that wrong strategy did cost him. Same with Jackalacco, same with Speed. They just didn't have what they needed to today. They didn't put themselves in the right positions at the right time to capitalise like the top 5 did. Womack rounds off the top 10. Just a quiet drive for the Williams as always. He's so consistent, finishes pretty much every race he competes in, and one day he will get in a decent position, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll go through the final run-in in just a moment as everyone's left, so I'm assuming that I've lagged out. That's usually what happens. I'd like to hope not. We'll go through it while I can anyway. We'll blitz through it as quickly as we possibly can. The final run in order, we did go through most of it anyway, but it was Ghost that wins the French Grand Prix. From second on the grid, didn't take the fastest lap, but a great one stop in order to seal victory. Then comes Slippy Jimmy, home podium for Alpine. Great drive from him. Scott, his first podium in a while, he's going to be absolutely chuffed with that. And if it's anyone's target to beat him over a season, definitely step up your game just a little bit. This is Bossy in P4 as well for Haas. Great drive from 14th on the grid. Dust rounds off the top 5 with MX in 6th. Then come the 2 Ferraris of Rick and Jackalacco, who are going to be looking good in the Constructors. But again, MX has control of this championship. Then comes Speed from pole to 9th. Was not going to be the best day for him at all. Womack from 9th to 10th, still a top 10, and a great drive from the Bulgarian. LB in P11 with tier P12. Then comes Vardy and Corey 13th and 14th, with Gravy Splash 2 laps down in 15th, and Zuba, our lone retiree from this race, in 16th. So 27 laps, 1 retirement, 15 finishes. Was certainly a good race, and we're never robbed of it around France. Maybe not everyone's favourite in real life, but recently in APPF1 it has delivered. Week in, week out, every time we come here it's a good race, and I'll certainly be looking forward to next week when this Titanic championship battle continues. Will Ghost make it 3 wins on the bounce? Certainly join me next Friday to find out. Also don't miss the Sunday night sprint on Sunday, as well as the tier 2 race on Tuesday. Until then, I've been Zach Sweeney. This has been the APPF1 Tier 1 Championship. As always, a massive thank you to our sponsors over at High Dive Apparel, and I'll catch you next time. Have a fantastic evening,